Okay, we're all being recorded now.
It's being recorded. Okay.
Okay.
Continue.
Says it's live streaming. It's going to take a couple minutes, I guess. It says it's coming up.
Dave, did you ask anybody on the on the board, on the team, to access the link,
Yeah.
just to see how it works on the YouTube?
Yeah, Arlene's looking at it, and actually
Okay.
so am I. But okay, now so we're all here. Not sure how long it takes to start. So it says waiting. So. It says we're live. I mean, according to the stuff I can see, it says we're live streaming, but I don't see anything on the YouTube yet. Oh, isn't technology fun? I don't know. Anyway, we're all here, so. It's giving me the stop live streaming, so it should be streaming. You would think. Maybe it takes a couple minutes to buffer it or something. I don't know. I don't know if anybody got a chance to check out the updated web page, but
Try.
still don't see anything. I don't know how much longer we can wait.
Working.
He's trying to figure it out. Everybody knows how to make it. live. Here.
It says now playing, and I don't see anything playing.
I gotta jump off in 10.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking we should just um, go ahead with our meeting, and we can always ratify. The only thing we're going to do is the licensing and stuff. But at least we can always ratify what we do at the next meeting.
You're recording, right?
Yes, we're recording, so
It,
Okay.
it does say live on custom live streaming service.
yeah, it does, and that's what I don't understand. I mean, the thing I read says that sometimes it takes it several minutes for it to actually starts streaming, but I'm not sure how long that might be from here. So anyway, I think we can call the meeting to order, John, if you want.
Okay, thanks, everyone. I will go ahead and call the July Guam Board of Accountancy meeting to order. Present are board members Taling Taitano, Todd Smith, Jenny Chu, and Francis Baba. And of course, present is Executive Director Dave Sanford. I'm assuming there are no other guests in today's meeting. So first item on the agenda is the approval of last month's meeting minutes. I think it's attached. And I think Arlene sent it out to everyone today. And I think it's the first 15 pages, right?
Yes.
Or maybe the up to page 15, I think, is the minutes. So take some time to review.
Yeah, I move that the minutes be approved.
Okay.
Second,
Okay.
Second by Tolling. Okay, last month's meetings are minutes are approved. Moving on to the next item is old business. Dave, do you want to do the foundation update, or you want to do the license reimbursement policy?
Yeah, I'll do the foundation update first. Let me see here. I think I have it here. Can you see that or no?
I can see it.
Okay. Basically, excuse me, we're looking at the fund having a $3.591 million
I just see
balance.
the agenda. I
What
just
do
see the agenda. Dave.
Okay.
Just,
Uh,
only thing that's up there is the agenda.
okay. Screen sharing's kind of going nuts. I have to reshare the screen. This one. I guess the thing updated itself and now it works differently than it did before. Okay, can you see that now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So the fund balance is 3.591 million. And it's showing that we have a 7.5% return year to date, and a 9% return since inception. And that basically means that when we make our next contribution, we should go up to almost the 4 million mark with some appreciation, although, and looking at the market today, it dropped 700 points. So, you know,
Yeah.
it's an up and down thing. So I'm thinking yeah, our next contribution was budgeted for 400. So if we do that, we'll be close to the 4 million mark, at which point we should be able to support a full-time visiting professor on a year-round basis.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
If anybody's interested, all of the detailed statement is here. We've had 17,000 in investment management expenses to date, almost 17.5, but it amounts to about a half a point on the average fund balance. So it's actually a pretty reasonable fee at this point. In terms of the visiting professor program, The two professors that came before from Mississippi, Billy Moorhead and Mark Morgan, are teaching summer classes this summer, but they're teaching virtual classes. So we managed to arrange for a free CPE event, which is going to be this Thursday and Friday morning from 8:30 to 12 on a virtual basis, sponsored through the University of Guam. And I've been talking with Jason and Billy, who's in charge of it. What he's done is gotten the students in his data analytics class, where it's kind of a combination data analytics, cybersecurity, IT controls class. And he had a number of students, so they worked on various projects. And the 2 days of CPE is going to be include a lot of the students presenting their projects. And so far, Billy was telling me this morning that we have 105 people registered to participate.
Oh, wow.
So
105.
that's the most we've ever had.
Yeah,
in
105.
a CPE
Nice.
event, and I guess because it's free. So it's a
Yeah,
good
is
thing.
that the-
It's a good thing we're
is
using the UOG facility, because they can handle up to 300 people. So, what's that, Todd?
Is that the same thing that Billy presented in that seminar before?
I don't think so. No. What they're doing is he had about 20 something or 18 to 20 something students, and he put them together in groups of somewhere between 2 and 4 kids, and each
Same
one.
title, that's why I asked.
Huh?
It's the same title, that's why I asked.
Oh, I don't know.
Nova says you need to hit that
Yeah.
icon
Which
Exactly the same title as that,
with the plus sign.
is that AGA stuff.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't see the AGA thing, but
Yeah.
what he's done is supposedly he's had the students work on the projects, and divided them up into different topics. So they're supposed to present their topics, and along with that, he's moderating, and he's also going to present a couple of hours worth of ethics, and rolled into the whole thing. So at least that's what they tell me. So. But the 2 days should be good for 8 hours of CPE credit. So
Yeah, Dave, that's the UOG was charging a lot, I thought, right?
I guess he's not paying attention.
yeah, they kind of upped their price on handling the course to do the things through their Zoom facility. And I'm not sure why, other than that they probably finally figured out how much time they actually spend on it. So, because they were spending a good amount of time on it. But they handled the registration, and they also handled the meeting links. And then in the previous cases, they handled the payment and collection too on their website. So, overall, now I think the price, we'll have to negotiate with them to do the CPE for the tax courses that are coming up in August, to see how it goes. But still, they have one of the better facilities, from an overall
Yeah.
standpoint.
Yeah, Todd, I think what you're talking about was that recent AGA training. Yeah, they did use UOG, so I think it'll be the same format where they have.
Yeah, it's exactly the same title, and it was Billy Moorhead.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see it.
So my point is if you took the course in the AGA deal that was put on by AGA and the graduate school, it's the same material. It sounds like the same material.
Oh,
So,
And you
Well,
can't get credit
so
again, right?
What
yeah,
was the,
so that's my point.
okay.
was the content by the students?
No, the content was not by the students, but the content was all by Billy. But it was the same title.
Yeah, I don't know. I
So-
mean, maybe that I could ask Jason, but
So it sounds like it's the same material with a different twist.
yeah, my understanding is that he broke up all of the subjects and assigned them to different groups of students to do projects, and the kids are actually
Yeah.
doing the projects and the presentations. So I'm not
Okay.
sure how much the content will be the
Just a
same.
warning, if somebody spends the time to get the free CPE and then it's a duplicate of something else, then they can't do it. That's all.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know. I have no idea about the AGA course. Anyway, so that's where we stand, and then we're still looking at UOG has to decide whether they're going to actually go back to face-to-face classes in the fall. I think that's what they're planning, but I'm not sure that that's been approved yet. And
Dave,
yes.
I don't want to beat up the horse to death, but you know, if folks take both classes and then put it on the CPE, you know, the NASBA CPE thingy, it might get flagged.
Gotcha.
So, and then require an audit. So if it is different, maybe we can suggest that he rename it.
Well, we could, but it won't get flagged unless we actually decide to flag it. So
Okay.
If
If it is
anything,
the same
yeah.
course.
anything you put in there will be accepted. It's up to the individual boards to flag their courses. But yeah, I'll ask him. I'll send him an email to find out. So if it is, we can at least advise people. So.
Okay.
Okay, does anybody have any other questions about the visiting professor program? We won't know until UOG decides to go back to face-to-face classes. If we can then get Ray and his wife to come, Marilyn. I think
Oh,
they're
Dave.
still planning on coming, but I haven't heard from Ray in a while. So.
Hey, Dave, you know, the question I have regarding this is, you were talking about the free CPE where we have 100 people registered.
Right.
What about the actual student classes? How was the attendance for those, or has it started yet?
I don't know yet. I think the classes have started, but because I think this presentation is part of the finale of their class or their project or whatever. But according to what Jason and Billy were telling me, they had pretty good attendance. So, but of course, Billy's done, it's all done virtual. So, you know, I'm not sure I'm not sure how the virtual attendance goes with the UOG courses. I mean, I know how it went with my first grader, but I don't know about the UOG courses.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, if we can find that out, that'll be great. Curious to see what the response was for these two courses. Hopefully it's the same attendance or similar attendance with the free CPE. You know, obviously there aren't that many accounting students, so.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll ask Luigi for the roster of who's attending the courses, so we'll find out. Okay. There's any more questions about the financing here? I'll switch
Looks
to.
good.
Well, the new licensee reimbursement policy, I haven't gotten to Joe yet. He's I was waiting for him to finish his proposed order, which he did, and then we find out that, Happy has to review it and submit it, I guess, so. He's off island taking his daughter to college, so he's due to be back, I think around the 10th or 12th, something like that, so I intend to tackle the legality of the reimbursement policy that we want to use in terms of the restrictions with him when he returns.
Yeah, it's already been a couple of years. I think there is, I think who was the
Well,
first
there's-
person that's supposed to receive this?
There's one person that's actually qualified that applied, and then there's two more licensees in our list today that are Guam licensees that graduated
Okay.
from the University of Guam. So that's why, but I need to get the legal aspect of it out of the way. So if we do it, then we don't get in trouble for doing it. So.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we should start accruing.
Oh, well, we've got it budgeted for already. So
Okay.
not to worry about that part. Yeah, it's budgeted. I just, every time I try to get a question before a lawyer, 15 more questions from them come back at you. I had no idea that we couldn't discuss a draft,
Well, that's
No.
that's just ridiculous.
Well, that's the way I feel, but
I think Poppy is way too full of herself.
yeah, I'm not cut out to be a lawyer, that's for sure.
Oh, man.
I think I'd probably wind up in jail if I tried to represent anybody.
And like I said, we should get CPE for the whole experience.
Yeah, really. Yeah, like 180 hours worth. So let me go on to the licenses here. I have to share this screen share thing. I can find them here somewhere. I have licenses. Okay, here we go. Share this one. Okay. Now we're at the bottom. So can everybody see the license screen?
Yes.
Going to the top. Okay, so we just need to approve these. We don't have any issues with any of them. But as you can see, number 6 is Camille Calalong.
Okay, good. We got someone from Guam
Yeah,
working at Deloitte.
so she's Deloitte, and then we have Clayton from. He's now at IP&E, but I guess he was
Yeah.
EY John for a while,
Went
right?
to work for Jason.
Yeah, Jason stole him. So. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but overall, we have.
I just sent him a personal
Yeah.
message through this Zoom website,
Is it?
but apparently he's not looking at that.
Yeah, 69 licenses.
Oh, yeah. So
So,
that number 69, what is that? It says firm. Is that in a,
oh, that's
audited?
a firm. That's a firm license. No, it's just a
so-
firm license. With the firm license, they just basically register all their firm information and stuff.
okay.
As long as they're licensed wherever they are. This one's in Illinois. Atkincom LLC from Illinois. So, but the rest, we have no problems with any of them. So,
Okay, good.
I move they be approved.
okay.
Seconded by Jenny. Thank you. So licenses
Yeah.
are approved.
Yeah, then we need to go to these are extension requests, and there's 2. I can find them. Man, I hate this thing. It's changed the whole way it works now. The screen sharing. Okay, there's two extension requests. And basically these are two that these are not the people that can't get anywhere to test. NASBA is still handling extension requests for anybody who has expiring credit or expiring notices to schedule that are in a position where they still are not able to travel anywhere to actually take a test. And, you know, by and large, most of the people requesting extensions are still entitled to them. We have 2 or 3 that, you know, say they can't test blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I'm in China, but they just tested last week in Canada, you know, so NASBA weeds those people out because they can actually tell up to the minute based on the gateway where they tested and where they were and things like that. These two are people that have actually had issues. One guy broke his leg in a car accident and is requesting an extension for 3 months to go to September 30th. And the other guy had eye surgery in June, just you know, a month ago, and is requesting.
What's a broken leg got to do with taking an exam?
Well, I don't know, but I guess he broke his leg and couldn't get to his notice to schedule was June 30th, and he was in his accident in June, I guess. So,
Well, he couldn't travel.
he couldn't get to, yeah, he couldn't go take a test. I guess. Maybe he was on the way when he got run over. I don't know. But he did actually submit.
I see the bones.
X-ray. So,
I mean, he must be in pain if he can't.
not sure
I
whose
would- I would
leg it
assume-
was.
I would assume that's the reason why he can't take the exam, because he's in pain. Because I mean, if you're a broken leg, you're in a wheelchair. I think a lot of people in wheelchairs can take the exam still.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not real sure. He says his foot and ankle mobilization was painful.
Painful,
Inability to
okay.
bear weight, couldn't really walk. So, you know, so
Understandable. think.
yeah. So this was on June the 20th, I guess. So, you know, so I don't think we have any real issues going to the end of September. Given that right now that's the NASBA is extending people to the end of September, and come, you know, the end of September and the people still can't test, they'll extend them to the end of December, but they're only doing it one window at a time, essentially one quarter at a time. So this other guy has his FAR credit is expiring the end of September. And he had eye surgery and he's supposed to not do anything for a month. So he's asking for extension until November the 5th. So typically, if we did the extension, we would extend it, you know, until the end of the window. It's just easier to keep track of that way. But he submitted a bunch of paperwork too. So I don't have any problem with either one of these guys. They're the only two that have really come up in the last 3 to 4 months.
He looks reasonable, or sounds reasonable to me. I don't have
Yeah,
any
well,
issues either.
We had one guy that applied to extend because he'd extended 2 times already and didn't do anything, and you know, one credit and one notice, and then he still didn't do anything, and he wanted to extend again, and we told him basically, no, that's not going to happen. So. But I don't have a problem with these two. I think they're okay at this point. So I would extend this one to the end of September, and this one probably just to the end of the window, the December window.
Yep.
So we can keep track of it. Unless anybody has objection, we'll go ahead and do that.
No objection
Okay.
here.
Sounds good.
Okay. Okay, next up, we can go to,
What is it? General discussion?
yeah, and I have this, basically it's the BOE update here. There was a call, this was on a call. Go to the beginning. The quarterly BOE update call, which of course is at like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning our time. And it's, the Board of Examiners Chair Berkowitz and Mike Decker. And I was in the CBT admin committee call at midnight the night before, so I decided I didn't need to get up to listen to this. And basically, they just covered some general information. The bottom line of this quarter was that their meeting covered the second quarter of 2021. And they have candidates entering the pipeline, and it's at this point is below both the first quarters of 2020 and 2019. So it's below what it was 2 years ago, volume wise. And that's in terms of new candidates entering the pipeline, sitting for the very first section of the exam. So that's the entry level coming in is below 2 years ago. And then the unique candidates entering the pipeline is even below what it was when we started in prior to 2008 and back in 2004. So you can see it's way down in the 30,000 range. That's for unique candidates in the first quarter of 2021. So basically what they're getting at is that the pipeline is deteriorating rapidly. It's not improving. What's that, John?
No, the red line, you're saying that, is that the base, the 2000? What is the red line?
No, the red line, they didn't actually define it, but I'm taking it to mean the level between the 2008 and the 2004 exams. Because typically we were close to the 38 to 40,000 mark, and I'm pretty sure that's what that is. So, but even at this point now in 2021, we're below back where we were in 2011. Remember, the big peak was in 2010 when they first changed the exam, and then again in 2017 when they introduced the new exam, the new features of the exam.
Yeah.
So it's the pipeline's not growing at all. That's one of the major problems they're seeing. So from a volume standpoint, this was annual volumes from 2007 all the way through 2019 and 2020. So you can see that 2020 is way below down here on total domestic volume. And if we all remember, the business plan was to go international so we'd get enough volume to help subsidize the domestic volume. And of course, if you look at the fact that there's 172,000 sections globally and 159,000 domestically, then there's only 23,000 international sections total. And if you recall, back when we were having a full test center in 2010, we were giving 12,000 sections a year. So we were giving half of the international sections to the Japanese at that time. So the volume's not growing. They're just saying they don't forecast a return to 2019 or prior year volumes. And one of the things they have done is the practice analysis they did back in November 20. They've updated the exam from that practice analysis, and that update was launched in July 1st of this year. But it's not a very big update. Mostly they just rearranged a few things. And then the CPA evolution they're covering again. So there's a little bit more definition of the 3 disciplines they're talking about that would substitute in place of the BEC section.
Right.
The information systems and controls, which we all know is relative to the IT side, IT audits. Business analysis and reporting, which is financial statement and technical accounting. and then tax compliance and planning, which is all the tax compliance, personal financial planning. So they're giving a little more depth to those definitions, and then they're hawking their survey really is what this was mostly about. On July 7th, they released a survey of the preliminary draft content for the core and the disciplines. And they're asking us to download the survey and, provide a response before September 7th. So anybody can do it. So I figured what I'll do is download it and take a look at it, and then I'll circulate it to everybody. So each of you can have your own comments or input. And then we can respond as a board or individually, however you like. So then the only other thing was about the international administration is they're still trying to get it off the ground in India, and they authorized it, but then when India got hit with COVID, they shut everything down again. So, well, when they got re-hit, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, blooming, I don't know. But then they have opened up testing in Saudi Arabia and Israel, and that's live. So, but it remains to be seen how much volume we get from there. And then the remote testing, which they keep talking about, in the event that everybody's shut down and nobody can move, we can test remotely. There's still, I think, enough people raised enough issues, both from a legal standpoint, from a security standpoint, and just from a general logistical standpoint and a fairness concept relative to who has access, who doesn't, who's capable of accessing, who isn't. What do you do with the handicapped people that need accommodations? Those kind of things. There's so many questions they raised. They've just kind of backed up and put it off. So they're saying that the target date has still not been established. Originally, the target date was 3 months ago. So that just tells you that they've delayed the thing and they're going to continue to delay it. At this point, I don't see it happening anytime soon. So, but that's
Dave, the kickoff date for this new examination concept is January 24. Is that correct?
yes, they're looking at this date here. Is the exposure drafts they want to publish is in July 22, July 2022. Okay. That's the exposure draft. And then they expect sometime in 2003 to get responses and then go through that process and actually have the exam revamped and ready to be launched in January of 2024.
Yeah, okay.
And I think part of the reason for that date is because the contract between AIC, PA, NASBA, and Prometric expires in 2024. So I think by then they'll have a new contract if they aren't already in the process of signing one, so, or amending it, one of the two. So. But yeah, you're right. January 24 is the actual launch date for the actual new exam. So. They're realizing in the CBT admin committee meeting I was in there, they've begun to realize that there's a lot of work to do relative to the changes they want to make just in grading the sections and tracking the grades and things, because you take NASBA has the gateway system, and they have to revamp the entire gateway system to be able to track now the scores for the 3 core sections plus the discipline that you have to take, which adds more depth of fields, and they're going to have to change file formats and all kinds of stuff. And then they have to figure out how to integrate the people that with some credit from the old exam moving into the new that they didn't pass before the new one launched. And they have to be able to track all of the scores, old and new. So they've realized they have a lot of work to do. I think. that was one of the things that came up in our CBT admin committee is that they're having to start now on a lot of the IT things they're going to have to do just to be able to get this new exam launched in 24.
I wonder how many graduates actually, or how many people actually taking the exam who are right out of school have any clue, any idea what discipline they want to be in. Maybe they think they do, but
Well, yeah,
you know,
that's
I want to be
true.
an auditor, I want to be an IT guy, to a tax guy. Who the hell knows? I mean, some people do, but the vast majority, my guess is do not. Anyway, that's just my.
I
Hey,
think
hey, Todd, sorry, I just, it's coincidental. I just had a staff, we hired this person, not from UOG, actually from the States, graduating from a private university out there. And we hired her in January. She turned in her resignation today to me. So I've only been hired for 6 months.
Wow.
And so I asked her, I told her, I asked her, it's not what you expected? And she said, no, it's exactly what I expected. It's
That's
not
why
for me.
that's why
That's
I'm
what she said.
resigning.
Yeah, she says it's exactly what I expected, but it's not for me. She said, I came to EY with an open mind, and it's just not for me.
She
So,
just had to confirm it, right?
yeah,
Oh man, that's pretty
I was
crazy.
surprised. She said exactly what I expected, just not for me.
Gee, thanks.
Auditor.
Yeah. Oh boy. Well, I remember when I was interviewing with Merle Crow, he asked me did I want to do auditing or tax, and I told him I don't know, it doesn't matter to me. I've been doing both, so didn't matter one way or the other. And he said, well, we need you to do audit because of Gov Guam. So, and I'd also been auditing government in Florida, city government and the CDBG program. So that's where I went.
But there's we have the CPA profession, the public accounting profession. I think the challenge that we're probably experiencing now is that we're competing against Gov Guam. The government of Guam, I mean, they're actively recruiting and they're paying higher starting salaries. So there is a pull from public accounting, I guess, into government.
Yeah, well, you're also competing against the public auditor's office because BJ likes to hire people that are qualified.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
That's true too.
Oh, there is a demand for definitely to have a very good accounting program at the University of Guam.
Yeah.
And to increase the number of enrollees, increase enrollment.
Well, that's what we're working on. The bottom line is we can ultimately get some kind of master's degree approved, even if it's just a 5-year program kind of
Yeah,
thing.
Dave, I wanted to ask, do we know what the UOG is doing or telling its accounting students about passing the exam right now? Because their accounting degree is only 4 years.
Well,
and
Doris
new law.
Yeah, Doris has been talking about it, but and Jason too. I mean, they've been talking about it to the kids, and I think we've once or twice, I think in the seminar things I went to, I talked about it too with the JAS people and the accounting students. So I think they're aware of it, but it's probably not uppermost in their mind. And the other thing is that in one of the I think it was one of the CPE event things they were giving that Doreen was part of, and she made the big plug for everybody to go apply at GPA and Waterworks because they're paying a lot more money than public accounting. She was throwing out starting salaries. So when she asked the 2 JAS guys that one I think was interning with you, John, and the other one I think, I'm not sure, went to Deloitte or what, but she asked the 2 of them, what made them choose, and they said, oh, we didn't even think about salary. We were more interested in what we were going to be doing. So
Yeah.
but she's a main proponent of government employment. So, it's not surprising that a lot of our accounting graduates just go to the government. So, anyway, financial wise, I don't know if everybody got a chance to look at it, but this is the estimated June statement. Again, I say estimated because we don't really have the application fees, exam application fees from NASBA. I won't get it until probably another week or so. For June, it'll come like towards the end of July. But I'm just estimating based on averaging the last 3 to 6 months rolling average. So I think it's reasonable. So, but as of June, we're looking at the 88, and no. This is all the test center revenues for the whole fiscal year, the $280.
Huge drop.
Randy was telling me that he's running the test center. I think maybe was he'll call one other person if he needs anybody, but he is running it, and it is open, and people can test if they could get here. I was encouraged by the thing about the Taiwanese flights coming in, but the fact remains that for them to go back, they still have to quarantine when they go back. So it's still an issue for a lot of them. And then you're looking at, even though I was complaining in one of the executive director called the 6 a.m. the day before the BOE meeting, I asked Pat about, now that everything's beginning to open up, are you going to continue testing in Korea or allowing the Asian people to test in Korea or Japan? And, she of course made the comment, well, it's harder to shut down than it is to open up. I said, yeah, that's what we talked about originally, but Ken said he had no problem doing that. So she said, well, I don't know, I have to talk to Ken. So I don't think they appreciated hearing it, but the fact is, the test center in Korea has only got 23 seats or 21 seats, something like that. So they're giving tests, but not very many. And most of the candidates that are in, Asia, China, Mongolia, Hong Kong, even Taiwan, they cannot get into Japan or Korea to take the test due to their quarantines. And then even if they did, they'd get quarantined on the way back. So none of them are actually going anywhere, which means a lot of the NTSs and things are just being extended. But at this point, I think there's still a lot of pent up demand for taking the test. So if they can, ultimately, if Guam opens up the test center and they're able to get their visas to come into Guam, I think we'll still see some test center revenues in the future. Although I'm not counting on it. What's that, Todd?
How many seats are, by comparison, how many seats does the Guam Center have?
They were up to 39 seats, I think, something like that. 38 or 39 seats. I think. I mean, originally they had 21 or 23 seats, something like that. Of course, they have 1 or 2 for the, people with handicap special needs.
Sure.
And then I think they almost doubled it when they went to the new place. So I think they have 30, I know they have at least 30, 33 seats, 34 seats. And, Randy runs double sessions if he has to. He runs evening sessions. So I know there's been days where he's had the test center open from, 6 a.m. to midnight. So people want to come and test, especially when the groups come. If he gets a group of 6 or 8 people, he'll keep it open and run a whole session for them. Anyway, so we're basically, with the exam app fees, they're holding their own. We're averaging generally around $10,000 a month net, and that's just pure margin on that. So there's no cost to us on that. The certification fees, we might fall a little bit short of the 140, but I'm thinking we're going to be somewhere around the 110, 120 at least. But I think we might have a little bit of overage in the application fees, which means all total will come out to somewhere around the 240 mark with these three. The licensing fees have already exceeded our 230 budget, and we're even basically with what we did last year. So we have 3 more months to go. I'm figuring we'll probably get close to somewhere around 280, if not 300 in license fees, renewal. These are all renewal fees. The firm fees are up a little bit, and then of course the penalties just go where they go because people are late. Most of this is strictly penalties from people that just file late. Procrastination reigns still. So from an expense standpoint, if you take out our 300,000 contribution, we're at 293. So we're basically 180 to the good. If you say the 300 less than 120, we're 180 to the good so far. And you know, we may have a little bit more. Our NASBA dues expense comes due in August, so that'll add 15,000. But otherwise, we're reasonably okay in terms of actually having outside of the contribution, having surplus or excess revenues, even with the pandemic year and no test center revenues, which means that ultimately we can at least pay our own way as a board. You know, as long as we have any excess from the test center or otherwise, if we keep putting it in the endowment fund, then we'll ultimately have enough in the endowment fund to at least fund 1 full-time professor on a year-round basis. So I don't know. We fund balance wise, we've got the 2 million. I'd prefer to take basically most of this and put it in the endowment fund because it earns a hell of a lot more in the endowment fund than it does in the TCVs. I mean, you know, but I'm not sure we have to get appropriation to do that. So. And that's a two-edged sword if you have to go talk to a senator to get an appropriation. So I think it's best to do it in an election year.
Okay, I think this is good, Dave. Looks like numbers are looking good, you know, all things considered. And it looks like we're going to come close, at least in total revenues in the next 3 months.
I think we're hanging in there. This is the chart of the applications that are getting processed. This is the actual candidates here. And then this is the sections up here for 2021. So you can see that even just from March to May, the last 2 months, it's jumped up about 20% volume wise for us in terms of, and these are applicants paying for their application with a notice to schedule that is 6 months out. So the people that are paying here in May will be able to test all the way through, you know, the end of November. So hopefully we can see some, if the volume continues to increase, we'll do reasonably well. So. But from a revenue standpoint, you can see compared to last year when everything shut down in April and May, this April and May was kind of the remnants of the pre-COVID people coming in. And so now we've doubled that volume since last year. So it's coming back to some extent, not as much as we had, but it is coming back. So. Okay. That's basically all I have. I don't know if anybody has any other questions, concerns.
No, I don't have anything. I think we covered covered it pretty good. Just got to make sure we do the, what do you call, not the YouTubing, the live streaming,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, I tested the thing and it was working, and it tested it, and even with this, it tells me we're live streaming, but I'm not seeing anything. So
Okay.
I'll just have to play with it some more, but I had it working, and I'm not sure why it's not. So
Okay. I think just the other, David, the other alternative is that we actually meet in person and then you do some other live streaming, or
well,
how does that work?
the alternative is if we meet in person, say in the conference room, we need a system that actually, it's a system with cameras that basically covers the whole room and microphones. And I
Okay.
checked so far, and the system that a lot of people seem to be asking about now is running about $2,600 for it's for display screen, cameras, microphones, the whole setup, cabling, all that stuff.
Hollywood.
Yeah, really. Yeah, I mean, that's not me at all. So I'm like, can't we just use webcams? And they're like, yeah, but you can't see anybody, So
Hey,
I'm
got
like,
to do
well,
makeup and everything.
why don't you just invite the TV people to, rent the TV studio, and we'll go there once a year and have a meeting. So, be cheaper in the long run.
Yeah.
Maybe we do that. We meet at Gita's boardroom or whatever's closer to your office and
Yeah,
use their facilities if they have one.
yeah, and I'm sure they'd want to charge us for it too. So we'll have to find out, but there's a couple other systems. But if we can make this work, then getting the camera thing is not that big a deal. So there's supposed to be some other systems out there too, but that's the basic one that most people are looking at this point. And it has cameras that do the 360 view, the whole view of the whole room. And then when you talk, it splits the screen into who's talking. So it puts you on the screen when you're talking, that kind of thing. So,
Okay.
yeah. So.
Okay. So David, are we meeting again next month, or are we doing
Yeah,
quarterly?
we'll meet in August, and we'll have the final part of the hearing on the agenda for that meeting. And we'll do that meeting again via Zoom. And by
Okay.
then I should definitely have the live stream kinks worked out. So,
Okay.
What's the date of that meeting?
at this point, it's August the 19th. That's the standard meeting date.
Okay,
It's August.
but
19th. It'll be a Zoom meeting.
in the morning.
Yes, it'll be an 8 a.m. meeting because we need to invite the applicant. So
Oh, okay.
appellant, whatever you want to call it, Appaloosa, whatever.
8 a.m.
Yeah, it'll
Okay.
have to be 8 a.m. because that'll be her 6 p.m. So that's fair, I guess. So
That's assuming she shows up. So we're just doing that for that specific
we're
accommodation.
doing it to be quote unquote fair,
Fair.
although
Okay.
she's never shown up yet. So
Okay. Yeah, I just changed my calendar now and make it 8 a.m.
yeah, it'll be 8 a.m.
Is there anything in our contract about being fair?
Not that I know of, but some attorneys I know would say it's in the law. I'm not sure it's in the law. It's just
I'm not sure it's in the law.
we just have to follow the law. But yeah, I agree. I think we've been more than fair already, but that doesn't seem
Absolutely.
to count.
Absolutely.
What do we know?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I think
Anyway.
if there's no other items to discuss, can I hear a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Seconded.
Francis.
Second.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Meeting
Thank
adjourned.
you, everybody. Meeting's adjourned. See you later.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Happy Liberation.
Yes.
Yeah,
Happy
you
liberation.
too. Enjoy the holidays.
Right. Where's the exit?